Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and discover exactly how to transform Claude AI from just a simple web tool into your ultimate capable digital colleague. If you've been treating AI like a basic search engine, well, you are about to see a completely different paradigm today. We're going to break down how you can utilize Claude to radically shift how you get your work done. I want you to picture a situation I'm sure almost every professional recognizes. You have a task on your plate. Maybe it's writing a really difficult client email, summarizing a massive report, or just prepping for a big meeting. You know it's going to easily take 2 hours, but you only have 20 minutes. So you either let the quality suffer or you end up staying late. It's a horrible feeling, right? But here's the realization we need to start with. That is not a time management problem. Actually, it's a capacity problem, and AI can finally truly solve it for you. To fix that capacity problem, we really have to look at the difference between the old way and the new way. Most AI chatbots out there are just built to spit out an answer as fast as humanly possible, which, let's be honest, usually results in generic, surface-level text. Claude, which is developed by Anthropic, is fundamentally different. It's built to act like a capable colleague. It's literally trained to think carefully, tell you when it doesn't know something, and actually push back if your assumptions are wrong. It is a tool for deep reasoning, not just fast typing. Here is our roadmap for leveling up your skills today. 1. The capacity problem. 2. Choosing your AI model. 3. Projects, artifacts, and memory. 4. Claude Code and MCP. 5. Vibe engineering your workflow. And finally, 6. The mindset shift. Let's kick things off with section 1, the capacity problem. Now, what is really fascinating here is Claude's massive 1 million token memory. To put that into plain English, that's roughly 750,000 words. You can upload an entire book series, a full year of emails, or 10 separate 80-page quarterly reports all at once. In the past, AI models would kind of just forget everything in the middle of a long document. But Claude maintains a stunning 76% accuracy when finding specific information across that massive window. It can literally read 800 pages of reports and identify hidden seasonal revenue patterns that a human would almost certainly miss. Moving right along to section 2, choosing your AI model. So the crucial point here is picking the right brain for the job. Think of Haiku 4.5 as your quick assistant. Use it for lightning-fast formatting or basic summaries where speed is everything. Then you have Sonnet 4.6, which is your reliable workhorse. This model is absolutely incredible. It handles 90% of your daily tasks brilliantly, and it's highly cost-effective. Finally, you want to save Opus 4.6 for the gnarly, complex problem-solving. Treat Opus like an expensive senior consultant that you only bring in for deep architectural decisions or heavy, multi-layered analysis. Seriously, don't waste Opus on a basic email. Now you have to see this extended thinking feature. When you ask a complex question with this toggled off, you might get a reasonable but fairly generic list of pros and cons. But turn extended thinking on, and Claude actually stops to reason through the problem step by step before it types a single word of the final answer. So if you ask for a course pricing strategy, it will actively weigh beginner psychology, churn risk, and revenue models specific to your situation. It gives you vastly better reasoning that's perfectly tailored to your exact constraints. All right, section 3, projects, artifacts, and memory. If you are still copying and pasting huge walls of text from AI chatbots, you have got to try artifacts. When you ask Claude to create something substantial, say a product launch plan or a spreadsheet with formulas, it doesn't just dump it into the chat stream. No, it generates a dedicated, structured workspace right next to your conversation. You can view it, click into specific cells or paragraphs, and tell Claude to update just that single piece without regenerating the whole entire document. It is an absolute game changer for iterating quickly. This is exactly how you stop treating AI like it has amnesia. By enabling memory, Claude remembers your tone, your audience, and your past chats. But when you combine this with projects, it gets insanely powerful. You can create a project for a specific marketing campaign, upload your brand guidelines and research PDFs as project knowledge, and even set persistent instructions like always use bullet points. From then on, every single chat in that project instantly understands your brand voice and references your specific documents without you having to explain it over and over again. Next up, section 4. Claude Code and MCP. MCP, which stands for Model Context Protocol, is honestly the ultimate game changer. It allows Claude to reach outside of its own little chat window and actively use the tools you already rely on every day. Imagine an AI that can actually read directly from your Google Docs, query your Airtable database, or draft content straight into your Notion workspace. It perfectly bridges that gap between just generating ideas and actually executing the tasks. Now, if you are non-technical, take a deep breath. Do not panic about this setup process. You really don't need to be a developer. Just think of Visual Studio Code as a secure Google Doc environment for reviewing the AI's work. You simply download it, install the official Claude Code extension, open an empty folder, and type /help. This setup gives you a really safe, visual way to easily grant or deny permissions step by step as Claude works on your files. Let's look at a wild, real-world example of MCP in action using a server tool like Blatato. Imagine dropping a link to a 26-minute YouTube video into Claude. Within seconds, it pulls the full transcript, summarizes the key arguments, and writes a LinkedIn post and a 4-part Twitter thread in your exact brand voice. But wait, it doesn't stop there. You can ask it to generate a whiteboard infographic to go with the post and then tell it to schedule the entire thing to your social media accounts for Thursday morning. All of this is executed autonomously through the MCP server without you ever leaving the interface.
Okay, Section 5, Vibe Engineering Your Workflow.
I absolutely love this quote because it perfectly captures the reality of coding today. I don't write code by hand anymore. I just ask Claude. You no longer need to painstakingly type out syntax or memorize obscure libraries. Instead, your job is to manage Claude as if it were your personal senior developer. Your role shifts from writing the actual code to clearly directing the architecture and reviewing the final output. And to successfully manage that senior developer, you use the Vibe Engineering framework. Explore, plan, code, and commit. Claude Code uses this brilliant feature called Plan Mode. Before it writes a single line of your new React app, it actually stops and asks you clarifying questions. It'll ask about your tech stack, your storage solutions, and your design constraints. It literally forces you to agree on an implementation plan together, exactly like working with a real human engineer, which drastically reduces errors. Now, if you're bringing Claude into an existing codebase, you use a claude.md file. Just think of this as your digital onboarding manual. It teaches your new AI colleague your exact standards, architectural patterns, and rules so it stays perfectly aligned with your existing apps. And hey, if you're feeling exceptionally brave and you completely trust the AI speed, you can toggle on YOLO mode. This dangerously skips the permission prompts, letting Claude code and execute at blazing autonomous speeds. Finally, Section 6, the mindset shift. The single biggest mistake beginners make is falling back into the old habit. They treat Claude like a standard search engine. They ask one simple question, get a decent answer, and then leave to go do the real work manually. The new habit is treating Claude as a true colleague. Bring it your messy, complicated, totally unstructured problems. Show it the document you're struggling with. Tell it the constraints of the decision you can't resolve, and ask it to help you think through them. Here are 3 things you can literally try today to start fundamentally shifting your daily capacity. First, take a dense 10-page document you've been avoiding and upload it for a quick bulleted summary. Second, give Claude the background context and ask it to draft that difficult client email you've been putting off. You can easily edit its first draft. Third, give Claude a real business problem, list your constraints, and role play with it. Ask it to act as a consultant to stress test your assumptions. The quality of that conversation will absolutely blow your mind. We are at a massive turning point in how business gets done. Artificial intelligence is permanently shifting the entire landscape of productivity and capability. The professionals who adapt right now will produce higher quality work and operate at a level previously reserved for entire teams. So the only question left to answer is this: will you lead the change by collaborating with your new AI colleague today, or will you be left scrambling to catch up later?